Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. A little bit of clearing for today. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's Monday, right? I think so. It's April 13th, 2020. I have the Divine Masculine Twin Flame read in front of you. I am going to report to you my union read as well that I did prior to this read this morning. I am first going to pull an energy deck card. I liked starting the read yesterday off with a card. So everybody take a deep breath. So let's clear all negative energies, all dark and viral energies, as well as bacteria. We might as well throw that in too. All of those energies, let's clear all those energies from all auric layers, all chakra layers, first and beyond, all multidimensional bodies across all dimensions of time, space, matter, and realities for the highest good of all those concerned, and fill that empty space with only beautiful divine love and diamond crystalline light, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so from the energy deck, what would you like us to know as we start off this read? Well, that one came right out, blossoming abundance, okay? So it's all about the spring and the earth and the beauty that is in your now moment, okay? And 3, of course, is coming together. And it is that authentic, expressing yourself authentically number, expressing yourself in joy. It also is the number of siblings. This card also wants to be seen, number 8, which is indecision. So again, this is the one standing at the Y in the road, and they're making it very obvious that when you're standing at the Y in the road, it has to do with root chakra issues, safety and security issues, feeling unsafe, because you don't realize that your heart is your home. You need to focus on your heart, perhaps go within, meditate, or hike for those people who have trouble with meditation. The bottom of the deck for you guys is 28, which is the Twin Flames, the 2 of Wands. Victory. Okay. And victory, the 6 of Wands, which is the journeyman, the Twin Flame journey, is like combining these two with the twins and the victory. It's the victory on the journey of the Twin Flames. And you see that she's very much at peace. And I always get Caesar with the leaf ring here. And I always tell you that I had a miscarriage when I was younger, much younger, a long time ago. I had a miscarriage, and I had named my child Cesare, which is Caesar, the way it's pronounced in Italian. And I didn't actually like Caesar, but I liked Cesare, which is the phonetical, I spelled it the phonetical, the way it's pronounced in Italian. So I spelled it Cesare, home of Array. And I was just getting Cesare when the Caesar ring came up. When I said that to you guys, they were just telling me it was because Cesare was giving me a nod. So that was very sweet. Okay, so it's beautiful. It's, you have everything here, blossoming abundance, and yet standing here. So if you still haven't decided, it's probably because where you are right now, where you've been, is not where you're supposed to be. Otherwise, you would have let go of this a long time ago. So I hope that makes it clear for somebody out there. Okay, so energy. We're going to start with these cards, and I'm going to pull them again at the end. So we have 8 of strength and 3 of abundance, and the 28 of the twins. And you notice here, too, is the 38, which is the Queen of Cups. Okay. So first, I just want to show you the union read, because you won't see that fresh read here. All right, so those are the cards from the union that I'm going to talk to you about. Let's see if I can get that a little bit more focused for you. So if you want to take a snapshot of that and look at it while I'm talking about it, you can. It won't be a real long one, though. So it's the 13th today, so that's the death card. Transformation, transition, change, ends. The Dark Knight. And that references, that's the Batman reference as well, the Dark Knight of the soul as well. And the masculine energy. And the day adds up to 21 today, which is a 3 again, which just came up. And there's the 3 and 13 as well. But also 21 is the world, which is another completion card. We have death and the world. They're both ending cards. They're completion cards. So there's major ending today. And it is the 13th, which makes sense there, right? So the 13 is also a 4. And 4 for me is very much of earthly manifestation, right? It's of survival. But people, having done people's numbers all my life, people who had 4s in their chart were very good at going out and getting jobs and knowing how to do those kind of things. People with 4s in their chart were always, those kind of things came very easily to them. So it's very much about survival. Whereas the 8 is more about the manifesting your dreams, right? Going a step above. It's like the higher octave of manifestation. But we have... I woke up at 8:18 this morning, which is the strength card and the 18 of the moon, going into the 19, because my clock in my room and my iPad were a minute off. So 18 and 19, which is the sun and the moon. And I wanted to talk to you because I went into my Akashics, not with any person in mind, but just to see what, when I opened the book, what was going to come up for me. And I literally saw Mao Zedong. So that was really weird because my visualizations aren't great. I'm very clairsentient and I'm very claircognizant. But I don't always visualize things in color. So sometimes it's hard for me to get visualizations or see words or letters, things like that. And sometimes it's very easy. It just depends on the energy I'm into. I'm right outside of a big city, so my connection's not always great here. I just went in and I saw this picture of this Chinese man and I got Mao Zedong right away as soon as I was looking for a word. So I'm like, okay. And I was always very connected to the Tang Dynasty. And this week, as you well know, because I told you guys, the Han Dynasty was coming up. So there's a lot about China coming up here. And if you know anything about Mao Zedong, yeah, I read a little bit about him to remind myself about what was going on back then. And it was very interesting because what came up online led me to a journalist who had documented, there's actually a YouTube video on Mao Zedong during that time when about, in a 2-year period, about 40 million Chinese people died. Okay, so it was during the, and now I'm blanking out. He was the Communist Party, and he was in with Russia. Russia had loaned him money to build equipment. They wanted to become, an industrial power like the United States was. And so they had so many people. You have to watch this YouTube video. I'll have to get you the name of the video. But if you look up Fernand Guigon, it's Gigon, Fernand, Fernand. If you look up that journalist in Mao Zedong, you'll probably get the YouTube. So check it out. They literally describe it as ants because there's so many of them doing the work. They were, to do this work or they would die. They literally were working their regular job, and then they had to work to build bridges, and they would build roadways through mountains, and like they did it with their bare hands and their own tools. And it's pretty crazy to watch, and just watching people get shot in the street. Yeah. So just to understand the reality of what was happening back then, but there's the 2-year period, I think it was 59 to 61, they're taking me to this video because the video that this man did, and he was the only one who's let into China at that time to do this kind of thing. The time period he documented this was June through September 1961, the year I was born, and I was born in September 61. So it's kind of crazy how these synchronicities always come up. And no matter how many times I see these synchronicities, they always amaze me. It was very stormy and windy this morning, and then all of a sudden it got sunny, and then it got rainy again, and then it got sunny again. It was a little bit of a crazy day today. But yeah, that came up. So yeah, check out that video to see. It's definitely going to bring up some wounds for you. I know that I have history in China for sure. So I'm sure it was trying to bring up some clearing for me, but I also think it has to do with the connection with the the tri-world power that is going to affect us in some way at some point. And it was China, Russia, and some kind of Arabic nation, but I wasn't really getting the countries you would think of. I'm getting Morocco because it was coming up as the Garden of Eden. I believe that's going to actually be their target. It would be Morocco, Russia, and China. And so I don't know if there's going to be someone, if they're referencing a similar leader to Mao Zedong who will come into power. That might be the case. So just so you guys know, if anything comes up for you as far as your meditations, let me know. You can put it in the comments. So this union read for the Divine Masculine and Feminine, this was done at 9:49 to 50 this morning. And 49 and 50 are the 9 and 10 of Cups, which is emotional fulfillment for the single person, emotional fulfillment for the family. And 9 is the Hermit. So again, staying within, as we are all inside right now. The union read underlying energy was the Page of Swords, which is always about getting the message out there. And the central card of the read was the 6 of Cups, which is the children of the garden. In this read, in this deck rather, I want you to see that card because it's just a really sweet card. All right, so you see the 6 of Cups in the middle, the children hugging themselves. So it's really beautiful energy. And then the final card, just so you know, the ending card is the Queen of Wands. The contrast between the beginning, middle, and end is the Page of Swords, the 6 of Cups, and then the Queen of Wands. So the message between the twin, or the word is out about the twins. The underlying divine feminine energy coming into the read is the Ace of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Page of Cups. The truth just beneath the surface is destined to crack the heart wide open of the feminine. And the cat showed up at my window last night too, right at the front door. He's really loud all of a sudden. The cat was here, and there's the 8 of Swords in this deck. It's called the 8 of Orbs. It literally is someone hiding across a creek, which is where, when I followed the cat one day, he took me across the creek across the street from my house because there's no houses across the street. It's literally like the masculine's coming up hiding across the creek. And that's what the cat was doing. So the cat's representing the masculine, that they're scouting you out. So the cat was here last night in front of the house, really being loud. And that was referencing the 8 of Swords here in the 3D line. So the first line, the bottom line of the read was the 3D, middle is the 4D, top line is the 5D, and then the vertical columns are the feminine, the middle is the bridge between, and then the right column is the masculine. So the 3D was coming up as Karma, which is the Judgment card, 10 of Swords, and the 8 of Swords. As the divine feminine in her Karma and Judgment, and even the Lotus opening even more, and the divine masculine in fear, and fear of judgment of the divine feminine, apparently, are bridged by ending pain, or a painful end, or even going to the spa. Or then I was getting the peeper also with the cat coming to the front door. So, and some are going to be remote viewing, so they could be visiting you at night, that kind of thing. So the 4D was coming up, the Page of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups, and the Knight of Wands. Exploring the divine feminine, exploring their abilities more, right? So you may be getting some new downloads now, this past month or so. And then the divine masculine is passionately moving, perhaps with a small flame, a little bit at a time, and the bridge being the inner child, the two inner children hugging each other. So your connection in the 4D. So the 5D here is the 5 of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and the 9 of Cups. So the divine feminine is in the Mary Magdalene cave. The Mary Magdalene cave in this deck is literally like a hermit without the light in a Mary Magdalene cave, but it's above this dark group, like in a ceremonial thing down below, all in robes. So the divine feminine's in the Mary Magdalene cave, which is very cold with no light, and the divine masculine is happy with himself. Remember, this is 5D, so it's okay, right? So the divine masculine's very happy with himself with the 9 of Cups, getting his wish. And the two are bridged by the Page of Wands, and the divine feminine worshiping the worship of the boy flame. Okay, so the divine feminine column is Judgment of Karma. It could be having to do with selfish needs that hurt others, because that came up in one of the lines. I was asking my guides, why is it that you brought Mao Zedong up for me? Why did I need to read about him, and why did he come into my Akashic records that needed to come up? So one of the messages was the selfish needs of us that hurt others, But this is the 3D view of things, okay? Because we're talking about the judgment of karma in the 3D, all right? So what other people may view as selfish is you being your authentic self, right? Because we're changing the perspective here, as opposed to being under control of others to under the guidance of ourselves, which is actually the collective consciousness, because we're meditating, okay? So the selfish needs that hurt others, well, of course others are going to get hurt. That is their trigger in order to look within, because they're being triggered about their subconscious wounds that need to come up and be released. And we're supposed to be teaching others about that so they can do that. So it's bound to happen. Everything you're doing must be with love. But of course, you're supposed to love yourself first. Love all of you, even your shadow sides. Exploring your abilities in the Mary Magdalene cave, apart from the crowd, which is cold and dark, but it's also peaceful. Remember, it's the 5D, so cold and dark isn't a bad thing in the 5D. It may be a lonely, scary place in the 3D, but not in the 5D. It's a very empowering place, actually. But it's also away from others' judgments. The bridge here for both of them, the column of the bridge, is ending pain or a painful ending in order to come together as their inner children, right? Your inner child connection, your cord, and also your telepathic and etheric connections that you have. There's multiple ways to each other. So you come together as your inner children to worship your flame, your third flame, which is the two of you together. The divine masculine is in fear, hiding, afraid, and then passionately moving on or moving in on self-happiness, while the divine feminine stands apart from the crowd in 5D, or going to your guides in Akashic records, waiting there for one. The hermit in the Mary Magdalene cave was very much coming up as my guide and taking me in to look at my Akashic records. So it was very much referencing what I did last night, so you might want to go in that. It's a very simple meditation where you take yourself up the steps. I told you before to watch Jill and Remy's last video, because they go through this. This is their meditation. So you just take the gold steps up through the portal to the other side and go into your garden of prayer, or the place that you love to be. You can make it any which way you want, and then you go along the path and you come upon a temple, and your guide is there, and their guide takes you in the temple and opens your Akashic Records book to a page, and then you have to look to see what the word is or the picture, whatever comes to mind. It doesn't have to be something specific. What does that page bring to you? And just see what comes up for you. So give it a try. But that was coming up. Also, so what are you supposed to learn from there? And then the divine masculine with all his ducks, getting all his ducks in a row, all lined up and ready to go. So the masculine energy going out from the reed was the 7 of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and the 10 of Pentacles. The divine feminine's heart working on getting, he's like sitting outside the E-Tower, which by the way was coming up as Eden today. So the divine masculine working outside the E-Tower, or the divine feminine's heart working on getting inside. Self-love, spiritual love, and new love of the crystal garden or business. And sending love to the karmics in the situation as well. So remember not to just send love to the people that you want to connect with, but those people that you may be struggling with as well. Send love to everybody. So let's see here. The summary card, and again, crystals. Playing with crystals and putting them out in your garden as you plant seeds is going to be helpful for your, not only for your plants, whether it's food or flowers, no matter what it is, or a tree, a special tree you might want to plant, but also just for the energy to have a place that you can go and just sit and meditate. So we end up with the Queen of Wands, but the Queen of Wands in 5D, not the 3D version. Okay, they're different because fire is different in 5D than it is down here. For down here, fire is drama, where it's more the expansion energy in the 5D. So the divine feminine of the Page of Wands in the 5D, the 6 of Cups in the 4D, and then the Queen of Wands in the 5D. Those were the beginning, middle, and end again. The divine feminine, the word, the divine masculine, the creative fire, and then the Ace of Swords to the 7 of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune to the Ace of Cups. I do this parallel across the masculine and feminine energies going in and out of the reed. So then the Page of Cups to the 10 of Pentacles. So there's truth coming to the divine feminine's heart, destined to a big love, and the heart opens wide to his family or the people around the masculine in his life. So again, that's about sending love to everyone. There was a lot of kids on the feminine side. We actually had 4 pages on the feminine side here. And the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands on the masculine side. Let's see here, okay. And then, of course, Mao Zedong came up. Some of the information about him, he may have abused many girls. That what was documented was a 14-year-old that he was with for 5 years. The way they talk about it, he didn't brush his teeth. He only rinsed his mouth, I guess, and spit with tea. They said he didn't wash often either. So you can imagine. I mean, he slept with many women. You know, he's a dictator in that way. He did whatever he wanted. But he didn't wash. So and they have him quote saying that the sex he had was, you know, the women's bodies were his wash of his genitals. So this is the kind of energy we're dealing with. And the girls would actually report being happy to be infected when they got STDs from him. And if he was approached about that, he would say, well, I'm fine, so what's the problem? So this is the energy. So he's coming up, the Page of Wands masked boy is coming up, you know, as a little child who's just playing with people's lives, right? This is a game for them. They come down and they're little chess pieces. It's like a little boy playing a game, but in the most shadowy way possible, okay? So then worship was coming up too. So knowing the difference between worship in the 3D and 5D is very different, right? Because worship in the 3D is destructive because it's one-sided and pleasure-oriented, whereas worship in the 5D is equal because you worship each other in the relationship. It has to do with love, okay? So that's the difference. So understanding the difference as you raise in vibration and experiencing the different dimensions. So coming from beneath the surface, destined to suddenly erupt with the heart of a child, but in love, the Page of Cups, as opposed to this Page of Wands that is being referenced to Mao Zedong. With the heart of a child up and out from underwater, like the dolphin, because that is your ancestor from Lemuria. And the Divine Masculine wants to be, I was getting the Masculine would like to be Mary Magdalene baptized too. This is something I talked about in France, where there's a place where Mary Magdalene used to baptize people. So, and again, the crystals, and the Divine Masculine being camped outside the Divine Feminine's house and heart with an overflowing of love for the Garden of Prayer and of Eden. And you notice I always call the card, the 7 of crystals in the SIRIAN Starseed deck, this main deck here, is the E-Tower. So that's considered the Divine Feminine's heart. It's like Rapunzel in the tower with the Masculine outside working with crystals outside trying to figure out how to get into the building or to the heart. But you notice that I call it the E-Tower because there's like an E on the top of the tower. And if you look at the word Eden, it's E-Den. The same as E-Tower, right? So it's Rapunzel's den, basically. So Eden. And it was referencing, since den, it references the feminine as the lion energy as opposed to the masculine. The feminine is coming in as the lion and the masculine is coming in as the lamb. Okay? And the Garden of Prayer keeps coming back here too, which is Eden. So in Thomas Kincaid's very famous painting, it's called the Garden of Prayer. It's being paralleled to Eden, okay, the Garden of Eden. So red was also coming up. The 10 of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands coming up at the end of this read was a lot about red because there's a redhead in there, and then the Queen of Wands is all red, and also surrounded by crystals in the 3D. And then the initial wound for me was coming up from my first love. It parallels very much so to the Divine Masculine and their partner. And I'm sure I told you that story before, so I'm not going to go into that right now. So we're going to get into this read in front of you. This is the Divine Masculine Twin Flame read. It is a general read, so if it doesn't resonate with you, don't force it to fit. It's for many, many people. And some of them will be very specific messages, and some will be more general messages. Okay? And it's for you, actually, to discern, because there may be ways you see what I report in a different way, which you're supposed to. You're learning to get your own codes and make your own assessments and get your own messages from what I tell you. You know, we pass this information back and forth and it triggers our own codes because we each have our own codes. So also it's for the masculine, so that means the masculine within the feminine as well. And here we go with this one. At 11:20 to 21, the SIRIAN Starseed deck was cut and dealt. 11 is Justice, 20 and 21 are Judgment and the World, and then going into the Fool, the 22. This is a 7-deck read. The SIRIAN Starseed deck is the main one, clarified by the Tarot, the Tarot of Sexual Magic, the Romance Angels, the Numerology deck, the Rider-Waite Mini deck, the Universal Golden Tarot, as well as the Gilded Tarot. And I'll pull Oracle. I usually pull Oracle cards at the end. Not every time, but I usually do. So with this read was finished at 11:44, which is Justice, and the 44 of the 4 of Cups, which is grounding and integrating and mastering of love, especially receiving love. And before I finish this, I want to tell you the numerology cards here. 4 cards are out. They're all purple, and the underlying energies are both purple. All purple. All third eye to crown energies. Very important to be meditating right now. And also, amethyst was coming up because I was looking at some large geos yesterday, and so amethyst was coming up big time, and of course that references the third eye. So very purple, amethyst day, purple, 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 purple. I wonder what will come up in the stone deck. I'll have to pull that at the end. So let's see. Then also these 4 cards I want to tell you before I start. This is the 5 of Wands, and then the King of Pentacles, and then the Ace of Wands, and then the 7 of Wands, standing up for yourself without getting defensive. So the message I was getting, you notice he's got the baton, the wand, right? And here is the single wand. So he's passing this wand off to the King of Pentacles, and then there starts a fight. It's like you know, the crowds. And I brought up Hosanna, Hosanna yesterday, which was referencing Jesus in the crowd. So it's starting a riot. So there's the passing of the baton to the King of Pentacles, which then becomes a gold coin, right? Turning nickel into gold. And as the King of Wands, or King, what did I say? King of Pentacles, not King of Wands, King of Pentacles, as he has this gold coin now, maybe he takes that wand and splits it and becomes a gold coin half, and the other half becomes a microphone to speak to the people. But either which way, he speaks to the masses, and this causes fighting to ensue, or a riot. And that could be funny, something funny for someone as well. It just depends on your situation. But that was this general message for the world that was coming up for the masculine energy. And that can reference political leaders as well. So the major arcana that are coming up: abundance, which is like the Empress; strength, the Great Wheel, the Wheel of Fortune; Chariot, and the Starseed, which is the Fool. And then after the read, the Indigo came up, which is the Magician in this deck. There was 1 cup, 1 wand, 4 swords. So very weighty on the swords here, being in their head. Obviously he was in fear, and this underlying energy is the 8 of Swords. So that's that fear hiding in the woods, in the creek. So very much in their head. There were no pentacles in this read, and this was done at before noon this morning. So the King of Wands was coming up here, and the Page of Swords within the body of the read. And before the read, the King of Pentacles came up, which is the one that came up in the overall energies there that I just showed you. Okay, King of Pentacles, but also came up in the underlying energies over here. So that underlying card starts off with the 8 of Cups, which is that walking away and within, but I'll tell you those cards in just a moment. The numbers in the code line were all about pride, physical activity, time out, and teaching and learning, but some of the letters were covered, so I'll get to that when I get to the code line here. But pride, physical activity, time out, and teaching and learning. And the numbers, 555s and 888s, major, and 58 is the 4 of Swords, the meditating in 5D between the masculine and feminine. So major 5s and major 8s, and as well we have 35, which is the Wounded Warrior energy, the Mary Magdalene, and then we have 56, the 2 of Wands, being your knowing and keeping it to yourself, and the 78 of the Dream Family, the end of the deck, the 10 of Pentacles. So this line, the code line, there was no numbers on the code line today. Just pride, physical activity, time out, and teaching and learning. But in physical activity, the PH, the half of the H was covered. So it was coming up as I, and then Y, sickle. And then activity, the A was covered. So it was C-tivity, which was coming up for me as connectivity. And then time out was coming up as TI, separate from ME. dash out, and then teaching and learning was coming up as T separately, and then eaching, so each, and then AND, learning. So instead of and learning or relearning, it was coming up de-learning, as in undo what you've been taught. So the message here was very much about strength and the mother and the egg. So you know the mother and her egg, she's very protective of her egg, and this is coming up around the masculine and the mother energy, whether it's his mother, his mother-in-law, a partner, the mothering energy. And also masty was coming up again, so someone may have had a mastectomy. And it's coming up as the feminine energy and the mother within the divine feminine, and the alternating currents going back and forth of the air conditioning. So remember, when we talk about air conditioning, it's the King of Swords and trying to condition them, which we're not supposed to do. This is supposed to be unconditional love. Or the air, or maybe him trying to condition you, right? Under his conditions, he'll only love under his conditions. So either way, it's a reminder. There's alternating currents here because this is about the 3D to 4D humans going back and forth between being human and being unconditional love, okay? So the feminine in her mother energy, and just mothers in general, but being one of two. So not only between the masculine and the feminine, but a mother and her child feels like one of two because she birthed that child. They were one. So the mother has a hard time letting go of the child. It's her egg. She doesn't want to let go, and there's a lot of pride about her egg, right? It's her child. But going back and forth about letting it go, right? So some mothers never let their children go, and some mothers kick them out before they're ready. But it has to do with the mother needing to let them go in the masculine's case here. And again, it's a source of pride, and especially in China, your children literally represent who you are. So if your child is not successful, it looks very bad on you, right? So this is coming up China, and I was talking about Mao Zedong. So in China, that you're worthless unless you produce children who are of a high caliber intellect and produce for the country. Besides pride, though, physical activity and time out and teaching and learning were coming up, but the P and half of the H were separate, so it's coming up as the sideways toggle with the P, which is about an imbalanced human trying to ground and toggle side to side, as opposed to toggling up to the etheric realms in the I cycle. The pride being that imbalance of trying to open parallel doors, and that's one of the cards in the energy deck, right? Opening, I'm trying to think of the phrase in that card. It may come up today, but it came up yesterday. But opening other doors, but parallel things, not up and down, but parallel. Having other opportunities, not just what you're in right now. So it's about pride and being unbalanced and you're vacillating because you're seeing too many choices from side to side in the I am cycle of connectivity to other humans, right? Because you're lacking that right now. So being off balance, oh, here it is, adjacent possibilities. That was the phrase. So that toggle side to side is the adjacent possibilities where the mother continues to run the show, or in other words, the mother got the masculine a mate who she knew she could control, okay? So that way she could always be the wife in the connection, not in a physical way, but in an etheric sense, the mother remains or retains control over her egg or her son or daughter, whatever the case may be. So then the TI comes up, which is reference for source in Tao and Confucianism, and me out, so it's coming up as source, connecting to source, but me out, and I was also getting source me out, and then toggling up eaching, so each of you toggling up, and de-learning. So you each have to take off what you were taught as a child, the conditioning, undoing the templates that have been put upon us all of our lives. And one of them is the control of the mother, because she owns you, you're her egg. So let's see here. So, yeah, the mother, I go back to here. So the feminine mother with alternating currents and air conditioning is one of two. Also mastectomy, right? Feeling incomplete as a woman, right? The strength of seeing the egg, right, as yours. That's part of you. To see the creation of the mother creates, the alternating current and the air conditioning of the master of strength. It's like saying the mother, you know, you don't want to, it's like a mafia mother, don't mess with her. And her egg, because that's her pride, right? The mother feels like one of two without her child, her egg, back and forth about letting it go and pride. And then again, like I said, the off-balance adjacent possibilities and sourcing me out, and needing to toggle up, eaching, right, separately, because you're each your own separate energy. You each have your own separate life. The mother isn't supposed to be able to control. No one else is supposed to control you. You are supposed to find your own inner guidance and de-learn. This is how it's coming up. De-learning what we are, undoing the old templates. So there's some of the stuff that was coming up online. EMA, the Ma was coming up, but Emma came up yesterday. So Emma came up in a couple different ways. It's the European Medicines Agency, which is dealing with COVID-19 right now, EMA. But the name literally came up yesterday. It's also it's a Slovenia TV series. It's like a song contest show, I guess. But just the website address was coming up, and SI came up yesterday too, which is the code for Slovenia. And for me, when I think of SI, I think of SI joint. But that it was coming up as Slovenia. And Emma and SI joint both came up yesterday. So there's something significant about Slovenia. And that was coming up as ema.svrk at government.si. Also Chinese, again, Chinese coming up, weightlifting. It's called Ma Strength, MA Strength, professional weight training programs. And then UDP-GLC, capital N, capital A, lowercase c, 2 came up. It was an article about the gene GNE, which is a master regulator for I'm trying to think about yesterday. So quartz and silica, all that kind of energy. This is sialylation. Sialylation? It's a hard word to say. But anyway, if it's up your alley, it's a little bit above my head, this article. That was ncbi.nlm.nih.gov. And then 3 different articles came up today. I don't usually get this many articles. An overview of genetic algorithms was coming up from mat.uab.cat. Part 1, fundamentals, and that was Barcelona. And ov-uab, I guess that's a university there. Gmail was coming up, as well as a YouTube. And it looked like it was Russian. I'm not sure what the language was, but I questioned Russian, and here I am bringing up Russia and China. So it's definitely Russia coming up, but question mark here. But it was coming up, Moosis, TJ, I don't know if he's a musician. And then 7000 series miniature toggle switches. So again, toggling was coming up, and the separate highlighted letters coming up were S, G, E, S. So whatever that means to you. I mean, for me, it can reference Sophia and God, and my initials are ES, so, but whatever comes up for you. It was the Macintosh MA 6900, 69 is the Ace of Pentacles, integrated amplifiers, and there were user reviews for those amps. Also the acronym S.M.E.A.C, and that was the 803 North Shore Sabre Squadron. Another article came up on cooling of magnetized neutron stars, and that was at 1221. Again, it was a PDF. The PDFs are usually research.net, but the title was literally on cooling of magnetized neutron stars. And it was bringing up the T with the lowercase, capital T with the lowercase r, and the capital T for me is the toggle up. And that represented the internal temperature, the R being the dial coordinate, and then the phi, not pi, but the PHI, the circle with the line going past the circle, was coming up with the R equaling the gravitational red shift. And I just told you all this red stuff coming up today. And red China, red Russia, okay? You getting the drift here? 1221. And don't forget that I forget words so easy, don't mind me. If it comes back, it comes back. So let's get on with the read. It's already getting in there. 4004. Oh, what did I want to tell you? That just reminded me of something. 4004 are the Page of Cups and the Emperor, which is the epitome of, you know, having control yet being the innocent, loving self as well at the same time. All at the same time. The opposites all at the same time. But the reason the reflective numbers came up because I noticed in the IRS check, you know what the U.S. Treasury number is on the check? It's 15-51. The King of Swords and the Devil reflection. How funny is that? Because that's the Divine Masculine reference to the King of Swords. So as we start this read, is the Eight of Cups. Beneath it is the Seven of Pentacles upright, the Six of Swords upright, which is peace, the King of Pentacles reversed, and the Ace of Pentacles reversed. All right, so those are all the underlying energies over here. So walking away after reaping rewards of peace of mind, that the King of Pentacles reversed lost out on a new life or money, time, and energy. The King of Pentacles and Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands, all three reversed, always falling short of each other's expectations, or the King of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles and the Knight of Wands reversed are walking away from the Emperor reversed with sovereign or younger partner, and the Emperor reversed may be a sugar daddy here of sorts, dumping all the responsibilities on the Knight of Wands reversed, who can't possibly live up to their expectations. Okay, so it's definitely three generations coming up here, like a grandfather, the father, and then the kids. So the masculine can be the father or the kid. So the father's coming up as the King of Pentacles reversed, the Emperor's the grand, obviously, but there could be 2 to 3 kids here, or a much younger spouse of somebody's parent, right? Their grandparent may have, their 70-year-old dad may have married a 40-year-old, so who knows? Or the Emperor reversed is over the King of Pentacles reversed. The sovereign or the independent single person is over the Page of Pentacles reversed, or they could be siblings as well. And a confession or dumping a load on the Knight of Wands player or teen who's acting up sexually or with bad behavior, getting into trouble, that kind of energy. Or the Divine Masculine is just walking away from the King of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, and Knight of Wands, and the Emperor reversed, all of them reversed. The only one that's not reversed here is the Sovereign, which just can represent the Emperor may be single at this time, who's reversed. But he's walking, he may just be dumping away. He might be walking away from all of them, dumping them. But he may be walking away from this group, but this group is also dumping their burdens on the Knight of Wands reversed, which could be a younger energy. Coming clean after the fact, sunshine, exposure of a twist of fate, the downturn or the slowdown that's going on now from the recent events, and the Magician reversed, being insecure and or manipulative, with the High Priestess, secret or psychic abilities, and walking away, spreading lies, spying, or negative rumors about the 5D connection, or walking away after no message or news in the 5D, or about a rest, a break, a prayer, or a meditation. Or happy kids, or sunshine, while the Magician is reversed and the High Priestess is upright, walking away from 5D messages or connection. 2 mountains out of molehills. We talked about that yesterday or the day before. That the masculine and the feminine making mountains out of a molehill, and here they are, mountains instead of molehills. Walking away from faulty foundation, and notice that faulty has whose fault it is in it. Walking away from faulty foundation, blaming others, and or others who don't take responsibility for their actions, or no message in 5D, so they had to physically go to the ranch or the country to get them or talk to them, or spying across the creek, just like the cat was doing today, or just taking a hike to process negative self-talk and or meditating, or turning back for just a second to take a breath, right, to take a break, and people are talking behind his back, or those under you not letting you know the plan. Taking some time to self, to just reflect and walk, or just, it's the masculine needing to take more time to himself, by himself, to get away from work, to reflect on walks and meditation, but he is not sharing the information he gets. The the Ace of Wands is reversed. There's frustration there, creative or sexual blocks, an inability to conceive or conceptualize this situation or this circumstance we're in, whether it's the 5D connection or the virus going on. But the sunshine, strength, happiness, or kids, or radiating energy. It could be good energy, recovering from exile, destitution, injury, or illness, and being left behind. But this is the recovery. However, feeling insecure in recovery and or manipulative or without the tools needed, or perhaps lost their tools of the trade, perhaps due to the kids. Those recovering and a child bearing all, hiding their faces due to insecurity or due to the magician reversed manipulations. The magician with negative intent is exposed. So chemistry comes up here, and beneath chemistry was release your ex for the masculine. The Page of Cups is reversed, but this is in the Tarot of Sexual Magic. So it's like they can't figure out how to express their heart when it's upright, but when it's reversed for me here, it comes out more as they've now figured out what to say. With the Queen of Swords upright, or they could have given up as well, but the Queen of Swords is upright here, perhaps a fan of the man in the mirror. The Queen of Swords is coming up here as looking toward the man in the mirror, but not at them, right? Depressed or an Aquarius, love partner, grounding and integrating where to go from here, standing at the gate, at the Y in the road at 1256, which is the Hangman and the Two of Swords. So things left out on all of the surfaces, scissors, magnet coin, chocolates and dessert, and hot wax dripping from the chest or glass ceiling, or dressed up and no place to go, so females giving orders as usual by the bird feeder, or in other words, the kitchen. Showing a man what needs to be cleaned up. It's like the directors telling him what to do. Depression, loss of hope regarding a deep connection while another is controlling him, or a depressed older child, or one who fell from stardom or star status. We have Aries reversed, Sag reversed, Leo upright, Gemini reversed, Virgo reversed, Pisces upright, and Aquarius reversed, all right here in this energy. Compassion comes up, 99, for the Page of Wands reversed. And beneath that was spiritual partnership with 27, which is the Ace of Wands, the big flame. So the Page of Wands reverse can have a very negative connotation in the traditional sense. Announcements or evil news can come up with the Page of Wands, but it can also just be a child who's frustrated and who has temper tantrums. Perhaps they have physical or mental issues that they have to deal with. But it also can be indecision and instability, which then accompanies it. So having compassion for the flame in a spiritual partnership. In need of help in recovery and in the downturn, this twist of fate that we're all in, the split, the divide, the lies, cutting through the BS. A need for clarity, in disconnect, in another world, or the world turned around and no one-to-one connection, feeling defenseless to the energies and attacks coming in. The foot may be stuck in a socket or a plug, but that's what it feels like, the needing to recharge your battery, the life of the human without sun or connection, right? So you need a recharge. Unable to ignite flame without a recharge. This is the masculine realizing that his energy is really dwindling when he doesn't get a recharge from the feminine or the ability to be out in the sun. And then Pisces reversed and Libra reversed were coming up right there. One who doesn't learn or doesn't get it, or a lost opportunity that passed, defenselessness and or to walking away to meditating, rest, or taking a break. But feeling insecure without tools to deal with emotions perhaps, or literally tools that they no longer have to make a decision to get off the fence, or the why me in the road, even though the chemistry is there. It's telling you it's there, but you keep questioning it over and over and over again because you don't want to have to do what you have to do, because you don't feel like it, because it takes energy. So it could be just out of exhaustion too. So the need to make that decision, and again, indecision came up in the energy cards before the read. The time for the masculine, he's being seen there at the fence with the karmic energy telling him what to do because he doesn't feel like making any decisions. Time for him to get off the fence or the why me in the road and stuck at the gate bored and letting others dictate what you do, or grounding and integrating too long. And so now your beneficial or benevolent options are being taken away. You told the universe you don't want positive energy flow in your life, and needing to have compassion for yourself. All right, so it's like the if you're not doing what's best for you in your highest good, then the universe is going to end up kicking you in the butt. So we say that over and over again, and we do the same thing. It's not just the masculine, it's the feminine as well. So the recent past is the King of Wands upright, the shaman, and letting go of emotional attachments to juggling, performing, robbing Peter to pay Paul, or robbing the rich to pay the poor. The fool is free to leap away from the upside-down world of the high priestess' secret or intuitive abilities, or a Pisces you've been battling with, or the lost game, and now reaping rewards of coming together with sovereign to work and align, to present or being present to the Two of Cups connection and really being present to it. Defenseless to walking away. So it's like the masculine's really feeling the loss of control of everything in his life right now, including the divine feminine. The foundation is the Eight of Swords upright, the fear, anxiety, the prison, the trap, or feeling like their hands are tied, and the Empress at night holding back time, money, and energy, or a new life, or magnetizing coin, playing hardball with him perhaps, as the King and Queen of Wands both upright and looking at each other, but no affection or love life, deciding where to go from here. So the King and Queen of Wands standing looking at each other are coming up just like the Tarot of Sexual Magic card, where, like this card, where they're standing at the gate. Okay, trying to decide where to go from here. Okay, so that's like the King and Queen of Wands coming up. But it's also coming up next to the Lovers reverse. So there's either a breakup there, but they're just stuck together right now because of the situation, or just living together but not really together in a sexual way, but that kind of energy is coming up. Or just they could be siblings as well. It doesn't have to be a couple. The King and Queen of Wands could be siblings. So the Empress at night, holding back time, money, and energy, new life, or magnetizing coin and playing hardball as the King and Queen of Wands without affection or love life, deciding where to go from here at 128, which is the Magician, which keeps coming up reversed here, the 28 of the Twin Flames. Or choosing that path, you know, getting off the Y in the road. So the Queen of Wands is over the Empress. The King of Wands is over the Moon. A breakup is over the holding back of time, money, and energy, or new life. Hanging out on Easter, perhaps playing ball to release sexual frustration. Or the mother refusing money to the King and Queen of Wands for a divorce. Or the Queen of Wands Taurus and the King of Wands Cancer are stuck hanging out without affection for each other, or no money to spend, or with a mother who's the Cancer and or Taurus. The center energy is abundance, or the Empress again, being present to the never-ending story, or dead tired, unhappy or never satisfied. Perhaps the masculine feels this way about a mother or a partner. No matter what they do, they can't please them. Rejected or rejects, or spoiled and entitled and walking away, and every time she doesn't get her way. Or this can be a Gemini as well, Capricorn. It could be Gemini or Capricorn feeding into a child or adult child who's acts entitled, like that entitled behavior. The child could be a Scorpio or Capricorn, reaping rewards of the Empress, mother, or Taurus who's abundant, but is also free, but the child may be kind of sponging off of them, whether it's just because of the recent conditions, or it might have been even before that anyway. The challenge being strength with the eye on the prize, or a Leo, or the masculine's own ego, and the King of Wands being depressed, losing hope, or needing to heal, or with an Aquarius reversed, or Aquarius is just in his chart, or the King of Wands upright is dealing with the King of Swords upright, Aquarius reversed, or the King of Swords, depression. Coming together with the King of Swords in their knowing. So the King of Swords is upright, so he's coming up as in his knowing, but keeping his energy and his thoughts and everything pure into himself. About a negative past, presenting the truth, or negative kids are mad and spreading the truth about a negative past, maybe that the adults don't want out there. Justice, divorce, or Libra is coming up here with the King of Cups reversed, suffering in silence and stressed out, or purging up at night, headaches, whatever. And Libra, Aries, Leo seems like it's one group, and then perhaps with Gemini and Virgo as well, and then if there's another grouping with a Leo, Aquarius, and Sagittarius. It seems like they're talking about coming together, and it looks like the Scorpio or Aquarius is having a hard time, or on their deathbed, so it might be someone older who had been sick for a long time, or letting go at a dead end. In a twist of fate, perhaps 3 women, one with a big ego, one intelligent, and one depressed, in a downturn obsessing over the King of Cups reversed, insecure and or suffering in silence or lost tools along with the King of Cups reversed, deliberating, holding back an announcement, or being too kind to an ex twice over, with the King of Wands affection and patient angel, with the Page of Wands reversed devil child, fire child, with tantrums, or may have a health issue. All right, or just be a kid who's bouncing off the walls. Hanging out in a crazy world, or the divine feminine in another world, or Pisces reversed and Capricorn's upright, and the Knight of Swords, messenger of truth, is rushing in about imprisonment, whether it's their own or somebody else. At 1:59, I got the love train. The train started, the horn was going off from the train as it was 1:59, which is the 11th hour. And it was coming up as the love train. So at the 11th hour now, crowning for the masculine, in his now moment, is destiny reversed, right? Held up in the 11th hour, the wounded warrior standing up for themselves and choosing a new path as the patient angel, taking one step at a time, looking back, going back, or living in the past with work issues, losing money, or third party with negative self-talk, or no news or message, and feeling defenseless to the situation. At 2:02, which is High Priestess and High Priestess, finding peace away from the state of emergency in the 5D meditation and just getting rest away from the group or work. The King of Cups reversed could be a Scorpio here, obsessing in a twist of fate, coming clean or getting clean about something he might have done after the fact, though. After it was already exposed, it's not like he came forward on his own. After the fact of the Hermit upright, which can be Virgo as well, missing their flame, feeling insecure and manipulative, or without tools to deal with their emotions, or actual tools were taken away, in deliberation or withholding judgment of the X times 2, and sealed divine feminine trapped in limbo in another world of energy stealing and sexual betrayal with the King of Wands affections, negative talk, spying, or no talk at all, ending pain or painful end in a war with the devil, swearing in, or Capricorn balancing out the playing field, or tipping it in his favor by doing the avoidance, the avoid dance, pretending not to know and saying the devil made me do it, denying the fantasy, oh, it's just a silly dream. So Scorpio reversed, Virgo upright, Pisces reversed, and Capricorn upright were coming up right here. It looks like Capricorn air sign at war with divine feminine, Virgo, Pisces, air as well, with the King of Cups reversed, Scorpio, the one between them. Soon for the masculine is the Page of Swords reversed, a negative child or news, and the truth about the past offered to the journey or the journeyman, but coming in with good news, success, and leading the way to receive the big love in return, as the Queen of Swords speaks about depression and healing and boredom, or grounding and integrating love. Just could be dead tired, or tired of a marriage, or a clingy Taurus, or taking forever to end, with a Taurus, a marriage, a religion, or establishment, or commitment to self. He sees himself as the Three of Swords reversed, healing, forgiving, and then the Knight of Cups offering love to the prisoner at work, whether that's giving love to himself at work, or the prisoner, the person with anxiety, or the one that's trapped between the offer of love and the man at work. Ending cycle of unhappiness, the Hermit sheds light and tackling the beast. Holding on loosely, grounding and saving, and then let your friends help you, masculines, calling in your soulmate, and retreat. Around the divine masculine, or how he is seen, is the Chariot reversed in the state of emergency, dealing with debt, scams, and or inequities in the situation. Held back decisions and announcements, choking on words or just choked at the time, in downturn, slowdown, twist of fate. The Ten of Pentacles reversed, family, loss of money, time and effort, and or dysfunctional family, an imbalance and not sharing. The Queen of Cups reversed, unstable home, moving, visiting, or stuck with family they just want to leave behind. The masculine needs to clear blocks of the Starseed. And before I get to that line, hold on. So the family, the Queen of Cups may be stuck with a family they actually don't want to be around, they want to leave behind, Or the Queen of Cups reversed could be a Cancer, Aquarius, or Libra moving in with parents to sell their house or home, or visiting their parents in the ending of a marriage, perhaps, or wanting to move but has to wait until the block is over, or until their parents no longer need their help. So the masculine needs to clear blocks of the starseed energy, which is that fresh new start here. The Knight of Pentacles offering help in delays in communication or travel, or looking for work but no bites. Teaching and learning, time out, and physical activity came up, and pride. And a moody Sag female or drinker with attitude, and a hook, hanging out, perhaps Sagittarius and Capricorn, in a growth spurt of the Frog to the Prince, which is slow going at 3:01, the Empress and the Magician. And it was just one hour and 24. So the Magician and the Queen of Wands there. So at war within, hung out to dry, dumping emotional attachments with the world upside down, the messenger of truth is rushing in from prison or a place of feeling trapped or hands tied, anxiety and fear, not being taken advantage of, no longer being taken advantage of at work with others or in losing money with Taurus, marriage, religion, or establishment. And the sun came out right there at 3:03 when I said feeling trapped. The sun, it hadn't been out, and all of a sudden, boop, it's out, 3:03. Two empresses, maybe two empresses, maybe two, your mother and your mother-in-law around, or a mother and a sister. So, not being taken, the masculine no longer allowing people to take advantage of them at work or others in, or losing, or not allowing others to take advantage as far as losing money with Taurus, marriage, religion, or establishment, or societal expectations, with the truth out there. The Five of Cups, grieving loss, regret of a positive connection, holding back feelings and energetic exchange, and delays in communication or travel, or a lot of negative exchange and a losing battle. The Indigo Magician is reversed, insecure, without tools to offer something to the Queen of Pentacles upright. So walking away from prison of healing and brokenness, the King of Wands shaman in his abundance, or with the Empress, challenged by strength or Leo or ego, and negative self-talk or rumors, spying or immature communication, or a child, or no news, perhaps that's good news, or a message that's blocking his fresh start, in a twist of fate, or the viral war, grieving, arguing, a losing battle of the Indigo Magician reversed and the Queen of Pentacles upright. The Divine Feminine's heart is at peace away from or with the King of Pentacles reversed and the Ace of Pentacles reversed. Walking away is the King of Wands upright, defenseless to the energies and attacks. So it's like the Divine Masculine finding peace within the feminine's heart, but then and through that is able to walk away from the King of Pentacles reversed and the Ace of Pentacles reversed. The King of Wands here is upright, but feeling defenseless to the energies and attacks. The prison, anxiety, fear is paralyzing him with the abundance of the Empress, and challenged by the strength or control over the ego in the downturn, slowdown, or twist of fate here, healing, forgiving, or healing by or from a heartbreaking negative self-talk, messages, rumors, or immature kids talking about a negative past or their childhood, which then involves their parents, right? And the war within, or in becoming the Frog to the Prince. Broken, broke down, up or through, canceled a move or travel, and a fresh start. If he ever grows into that grown-up body that grieves and gets mad and refuses to fight. Insecure, mad genius, and Mrs. Jones on top, winning by staying grounded and calm. Okay, so that was the read. And here I'm going to go back to pulling a few oracle cards to see what comes up now. And don't forget, like the indecision card and all the red that came up in the read. And remember, red China, Russia, all that stuff was coming up. So there's definitely something there. Let's pull another card from the energy deck. So I don't keep you too much longer here. And remember to just love, love, love. About staying out of fear and being in love. Because they're mutually exclusive. You can't be in one and be in the other at the same time. Clear again. Take a deep breath, guys. All right, so what is the final word and why we need to bring this message today? What is the takeaway here? And this card wants to come right out. We had the 3 beforehand. Now we have the 4 of the happy family and the rainbow bridge. And there we got the 4D. So this is referencing the 4D. And this is how we get across the 4D. By passing the baton, by holding hands, by staying connected. And making our own bridge across. Right? When there's no other way, you find a way. Oh, and this is why I was watching the Mao Zedong video about how the workers get it done. It was just unbelievable. You have to see that. It's incredible. There's just so many. They were literally working like ants, like a mile a minute, just chopping away with axes into mountains to make roads and scaling the mountains. It was very cool. You have to check it out. So it's like when you don't have your usual tools or avenues to get through, and referencing the 4D bridge, we hold each other and stay connected, and that's how we bridge across the water. We have 17 coming up here again. This came out the other day. Definitely taking action. That's the masculine and feminine, right? The polarities of the 17, the stars. It's time to take action. And you see how green it is too. The underlying energy again is there's God coming in, and again in his pajamas. 53 is the messenger of truth, the Knight of Swords, the magician and the mirror, and the Queen of Swords looking at the man in the mirror was coming up today. Okay? So it's referencing, this card can reference the Godhead in the masculine, but also can reference the masculine, because the masculine is the reference. It's the Jesus template of the masculine Godhead. So again, the man in the mirror. And it's like getting, shoot, what's the movie? The sequels where I'm just blanking out on the name for that movie, where he becomes Noah, right? Because his hair keeps growing and everything. So that's what I'm getting. So Noah's Ark is coming up here too. Okay, and underneath God is the broken heart, right? So don't break his heart. He's hiding his broken heart, the masculine. It is broken though. But he's being strong, but he's getting old and weak. Okay, but he still has the truth. The magician in the mirror. So we have these 3 together. And I'll pull from the crystal angels too. Okay, it's really beautiful energy though, isn't it? Look at that. This is how we go from God, and this is going across the 4D bridge to the 3D and running wild, being the stars that you are. It's beautiful. Okay. Okay, I'm kind of curious to see what stone comes up now from the Crystal Angels deck. Take another deep breath. So it's about letting your family help you get across the bridge, and you helping your family get across the bridge now that everybody else is going to be awakening. That's what you're there for, to help out. Not to push your views on the others, but to be there when they come to you for answers, okay? So what is the last message here for everybody? What do we need to know? What's our takeaway? All right, we have smoky quartz. Clearing negativity, release negativity from within or around you. So smoky quartz is coming in. That's a good one, because a lot of people can access that stone. Okay, so really keep your energy pure and clear. Oh, the 3 more cards want to come up. So that'll be 4 altogether. Well, actually, there's more. 3 came up with the 4, and then 2 more came up. And the bottom of the deck is citrine. Unnecessary worries. Release the burden of worries by giving them to God for healing and solutions, citrine. So that's the underlying energy. And the first one out is smoky quartz. Those are the most significant. Then we have these 3 come out, and the beautiful colors here to play. Lapis came up for me with, whose video was I watching? Oh, I did a meditation with Sonia, 10 of Cups. So she said pick 1, 2, or 3 for your message from the stones. And the one I picked had lapis, and I was holding lapis when I was getting the Mao Zedong. So you might want to play with lapis. Life-changing epiphany or experience. It's time of big and blessed change for you, and God is supporting you each step of the way. Topaz, and you see the energy, whatever resonates with you the most. Topaz, forgiveness heals. Time to release repressed anger, and it's blocking your health and happiness. So all of the Page of Cups and the Page of Wands and the Knight of Wands, those energies reversed, is all about anger, kids acting out too. Okay. And then the third stone that came out here was Sugilite. Own your divine power. Replace codependent people-pleasing with assertiveness and empowerment. All right? Don't do things just to be liked. Be authentic to you. And if they don't like you just for who you are, then let them step away. That's okay. And I love the pastels here. They're like my favorite colors. So you like the bluish purple and the pink for compassion. This is all about the throat chakra to the third eye, speaking your truth and using your third eye. And then there's a combination of colors there. So this is more going up towards the third eye and crown, but it's mixed with all of these other colors as well, right? You have the root chakra, you have the solar plexus. So this is like a combination of all of the chakras together. Own your divine power, all right? And then these two also want to come up. A lot of stones. Tiger's Eye came up for me yesterday. I brought that up in my read yesterday or the day before. My grandmother left me a bunch of little Tiger's Eye stones. So self-confidence through God confidence. Believe in yourself by being in God working through you. Believe in yourself by believing in God working through you, right? Because each of us are a piece of the energy, okay, of the collective God. Tiger's Eye and Ruby. Bless your heart. Reach out for emotional and spiritual support to heal and mend your heart. Okay. So a lot of stones came up. So pick what resonates with you. They're all such beautiful cards. And then one last card from the Kipper deck, and then I'm going to let you go. It was just one. All the ones were just across just a few seconds back, which is now a lot of seconds back. All right, so from the Kipper deck for everybody, one last card, just to get some other energy. All right, so poverty, feeling like this, which is also the 37. So it's teaching you unconditional love. Going out to help the community. And he always comes up like this as walking away from money. He's walking away from a wealthy situation to help the community. And there's the mature woman, which is coming up in the read, the Ma energy. So whether that's your mother or partner or the divine feminine, it's the mothering that needs to be, that he needs, because he's coming in as a little boy needing mothering. But it also has to do with the need to detach from the mother that raised him. And the message of concern. Okay, so maybe there may be some masculines who reach out to the divine feminine who needs help. And there's some kind of thief energy there. Okay, it may have to do with a house of high honor. So there may be masculine having issues with a house or a home, and the underlying energy is the marriage, okay, of a privileged lady, whether that's coming or going. There's two women here. There could be children as well. So it could be a marriage with two daughters, or this could be a marriage and the divine masculine and the karmic, or it could be a whole range of situations here. But this is the underlying energy, so you'll know what it is. So there's two women, the main female and the privileged lady, and then marriage, which is 3 again, the Empress. Okay, we have the 2 of the High Priestess, the 12 of the Hangman, so maybe she hung him out to dry, and then the 3 of the Empress energy in the marriage. Okay, let me show you the cards. Quick. The underlying energy there is the 8 of Chalices or Cups. Recent past is the King of Wands or Flames, the Master of Flames. He's also the shaman there, and he's upright today. The Foundation, the 8 of Orbs, where he's scared. And this, I want to show you the King and Queen of Wands. You see them there next to the Lover's card. And the Empress is down there below them, okay? The center energy is the Abundance card, or again, the Empress. The challenge being the Strength, or Leo energy. And of course, the Abundance or Empress can be Taurus energy. And then the other underlying energies here. The crowning card is the Wheel of Fortune. It's reversed, though. It's also, let's see, scrolling across that 40 bridge to the Seeker of Orbs, the Page of Swords. And that was reversed today. The masculine sees himself as the 3 of Swords reversed, healing. And around him, or how he might be seen, is the Chariot was also reversed today. So a lot of stuckness today. And then the block he needs to clear has to do with a fresh start, because the Starseed was upright. That's representing the Fool energy. and having big downloads coming in. And you see all that purple there, third eye to crown, guys. And there's the frog to prince as the Five of Swords ending up there. And that was upright. And then we have the Five of Cups upright above that. We have the Eight of Wands above that. Eight of Wands, is that upright? I'm trying to remember. And then we have the Five of Wands above that. So there's a lot of, the Five of Wands is reversed. And then after that is the indigo right there. That's the one on top. And then the Queen of Pentacles on top there. All right, and see all the purple in the underlying energy too. So it's all purple today. That never happens. So third eye, meditate. Okay. Make sure you drink your water, get your rest. It was just 15, 16, 17. Get your rest, get your joy, get your nature. Be good to yourself, pamper yourself. Love yourself. Rise and be loved, guys. Bye.